when it's something strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? Dawn and Beth.
Who did you call?
Dawn and Beth.
Oh, Dawn and Beth. Okay.
Who'd you
I
who'd
don't know
you
what
think
you
it?
said. I didn't hear Ghostbusters.
I had to switch it up. I had to make it fit.
That was a good one. I would not have thought about that one. You took it back.
I know, right? Yeah.
Bustin' makes me feel. Wait, bustin' makes me feel good. That's what it says.
It does it? I don't know that part.
Bustin'.
Yeah.
Doesn't it say that?
Don't know. I don't think so.
No.
Stop.
I'm almost
Stop.
positive.
No more lyrics. No more. Because you and your songs. Oh my gosh. Hilarious.
What's going on, Dawn?
Beth, first of all, it's been forever. So hi friends.
Hi everybody.
We have not disappeared. We've been here adulting life and
Life is going
adulting
on.
us.
Yes.
Man. It's on my end, and let me take the time to apologize. The hiatus has been on my end of things. Again, just adulting and things come up, and it just seems like one thing rolls in, another one comes close behind, and so it's just trying to get caught up on everything. It's tax season. This is like our first year we actually owe taxes. Like that's an adult blow that just no one is ready for. So had to deal with that.
I owed too, Dawn.
Did you?
And I wait till the 10th last minute to pay or to file.
Right.
So then when you wait to when it's 11:59 and you haven't
who you tell it. Listen,
and then they're like, oh, and by the way, get your credit card out.
Yeah, because listen, okay, let's back up. First of all, the deadline. I Googled when the deadline was. Like everyone knows that your taxes are due on April 15th, right? But of course, my husband has this unique gift of asking a question that will in turn make me doubt myself and the information that I know, but then when he asks a question, I'm like, well, I think so. Right. So with him, he was like, they're not an issue, but there was like a question in our taxes. I was like, well, let's hold off because taxes aren't due until April 15th. Now, of course, it was Sunday, April 14th when we're doing this, but I was like, it's not due until April 15th. So let me just take a look into something and find out. Here goes this dude. Well, is it April 15th? Because I read somewhere on the internet that it was due at midnight, right? This dude gonna ask me, so is it midnight of April 14th? Because technically that's April 15th, or is it midnight of April 5th? I'm like, and I was sure of it. I knew, what it meant. He was not satisfied until I found something that said for sure 11:59 p.m. on April 15th. He's like, see, that's all I wanted to check because it's really not 12 o'clock because 12 o'clock would be, I'm like, so listen, we're only a week away from our anniversary and I almost divorced him in that instant. I was like, I don't have to put up with this nonsense.
Well, he would have probably wanted to divorce me because it was 1 a.m. and I still hadn't pressed the submit button. So technically, I don't know if I paid April 16th at 1 a.m.
Oh,
but I'm like,
goodness.
In California, technically,
it's
still under the umbrella. So they give everybody to really 3 a.m. on April 16th. Because technically.
And I think because of my research that I had to do on the time, there were a couple of I think it was like Michigan or some other states that had a extension by default because it was some holiday. I think it was Michigan or somewhere, something with
Independence Day?
M. It was like, huh?
Michigan Independence Day?
Or something. It was
I don't
something
know.
that it was like a holiday. And so it gave that state till April 17th to be able to. I'm like, well,
Oh, that's why I did it late. See, I was visiting Michigan.
sh-
And so I thought
shut up.
that it applied to me.
And so, like
Oh,
you said, to agree with that. So then, of course, when you find out you owe at the end of it, these punks are looking for their money. So it was like you owe, and then these payments are due by April 15th, or you can go
incur
on a,
interest.
yes, like, set up a payment plan, but
Mm-hmm.
this will incur interest and additional charges. I'm like, oh my word. I started thinking about this, and I just got angry at America because I don't understand how I'm working and I'm paying you because I choose to work, and like, make that make sense to me. I'm saying, oh yes, I'm working, so I'll pay you because what, are you letting me work? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand all the taxes and everything. Like, I know I sound like a teenager all over again, but it didn't make sense. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, so I choose to go to work and you take money out
Like, I don't
of
have to
what
work.
of what I make, and then it's like, oh,
That's what you're
by the
like.
way, you owe us more money because we didn't take out enough from what your hard earned motivation allowed you to go to work and collect this money that I don't
That's what
know.
I'm
It's
saying. It's like, listen, I don't have to work now.
right.
You're
You take
penalizing me to work.
you ex- exactly. You are penalizing me for my choice to work. Like, I don't get that whatsoever. And who Medicaid, Social Security, I don't even get that stuff yet. Y'all already saying that we ain't gonna get it by the time we get to retirement age. So what's the point? What is
Right.
happening here?
It's a big ruckus.
It's a big ruckus. You penalize me for buying food to feed my family. You take money from me that way. Like, I don't.
Bleeding money out of every orifice.
Orifice. And then want to know why I want to take cruises and I earned.
Uh yes.
It's
I'm
adulting is for the
I'm
birds, man. Hindsight's always 2020. So I wish that I would have taken more advantage of naps, more advantage of just resting and everything else in between, because oh my goodness.
you're such in a rush to get there. Such in a rush to
Right.
get nobody. I think this is the first generation that has been honest with the generation coming behind us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like when our
Yes.
parents were our age, they didn't talk about these things. They
At
didn't tell
all.
us that they really didn't know what they were doing.
Exactly.
We just assumed they had it all together. It was a big lie.
It really
It was a
falsification.
big lie. And
Bunch
so
of fibs.
now I feel like the ones who are coming up behind us, they are like, it's finally now they're realizing, hey, it is not what they made it seem like it was.
And you know what? Because exactly the whole lie of, the quote unquote American dream, own a house and da da da. Owning a house is for the
You not
birds.
not in these days, and especially
Not
how the average house is going for like $450,000.
speak on
Who
it.
can afford a $500,000 house?
Speak on it. And guess what? Guess what? You buy the house. Guess what they take out of that? Taxes. They want property taxes. They want you to pay. Listen, so I totally agree. And I feel like now I feel like how my parents were. Like, one thing that I take away from it, and I'm gonna be the same way with Celeste. Like, when I was growing up, when I was in school, even during the summer, my parents didn't want me to get a job. Not didn't let me, but was like, listen, enjoy your summertime. Like, we got you. And I appreciate, and I'm gonna be the same way with Celeste. You ain't gotta work until you out of school, because there's gonna be plenty of time for you to worry about,
100%.
you know what I mean, to worry
A hundred
about the
percent.
stresses of a job. No, be a
Be a
kid.
child while you can
Be
be a child.
for the long for the and I That's one thing that I appreciate that my parents were big on. Like, when I, even during school, there's kids who work while in school. Now that I was not allowed to do. It was bad enough I was barely passing my classes anyway. I didn't need any more distractions. So even during school, I didn't have a job. But during summertime, my mom and dad were like, "Nah, just chill, have fun with your friend." Like, you know what I mean? Like, be a kid, be a youth. There's plenty of time to learn about.
You're an adult the majority of your life. So,
Right,
you
for
know what I
longer than
mean?
you're a
So,
kid.
yes. So,
Yes.
so I mean, and my offspring, I don't want to call them children because they're not really young anymore, but they're still young-ish. They're still
Right.
young
Right.
adults. And they're inching their way up slowly, slowly. But at the same time, I'm still like, you better take advantage of what you can take advantage of while you can. Because
Right.
at one point, that switch on that light is going to flip. And once it goes on, there is no turning back. There's no going back
None.
whatsoever.
There is none. I can't go back to,
Trying to
listen.
find, I'm in the dark trying to find that switch to flip it the other way. Cannot find it. Looking for the string to pull from the light, looking for a night light, looking for anything to flip. There's nothing
Anything.
left to flip. There's not,
There's
it's gone. The
all the
light is gone.
switches have been
The
flipped
bulb has burnt it.
out.
The bulb has burnt it out.
So I'm so for, like, that. That's one thing that I know for sure. I'm gonna be like, listen, even if you got friends, let them work. I don't care. Don't do it. Enjoy your youth. Enjoy your youth. Do it. Use that time for other things, but not job and stuff. Like I said, there's plenty enough time for that. Like,
You'll be
goodness
working the rest of
gracious.
your natural born life.
Right?
There's stories about, elderly people who are in their 70s who are still working because they have to, because they need to, because they have prescriptions that they can't afford. They have to choose between food and buying their medication. So they're still working to
Right.
supplement that income. It's sad.
It really is. And I don't know. Friends, I ain't trying to get you down. Half of y'all not half of y'all, majority of y'all are our age. Y'all know what the dealio is. It's just ridiculous. And I'm just done with it. So again, just dealing with life, we had to put some things on pause. And I'm gonna be real, like, Beth would ask me, like, you want to do the podcast. I was at one point just in a funk. I'm like, I ain't gonna have nothing funny to say. I ain't gonna have a positive outlook on anything. I'm like, bah humbug. Like, what's going on in Hollywood, Dawn?
it
I don't
it
know.
it
The rich are getting richer.
it does it to you though, Dawn. It does it to you. I
It
get it.
really does. And like, it's so funny because I know it's been around um for a while, like mental health, like the topic of mental health and everything, but it's like not until I've gotten this age in life where I feel like a lot more like adult
Anxieties of it. Yeah.
adult themes and topics really weigh down on you. Like you said, when you get in the funk, it's like I'm not even myself. I don't feel like laughing. I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and for those that know me, I'd say 90s, good 97.6% of the time I'm joking, laughing, and da da da. But when that three other 2 point some percent come down, it's like, ugh, I'm drained. But I'm making my way back.
I'm glad. I'm glad you are.
Yeah.
And I when I reached out and I said, "Do you want to do the podcast?" And you were like, I don't know if I'm have anything to contribute." And I was like, "Well, maybe, um, you know, talking about it or laughing over things that might." But even then, you still are like,
Yeah.
not there. I I,
Yeah, it's a rough
I get
spot.
it because believe me, I have had my own weeks of funk. I am a person though, and I don't know if this is a a bad thing, a good thing or not. I think I'm similar to you in the sense that I'm pretty much, I have a good disposition the majority of the time.
Right.
Um, but I still, even if I'm in a funk, I will do something that I maybe don't even feel like doing just because
To like reverse the effect of
yeah,
it.
I just, and I don't know if you could maybe ask my kids, they might say a little bit different, but I mean, I feel like for the most part, um, if I'm in a funk, my funk might last. I might still be in a funk,
Yeah.
but I don't let it. I hold everything in. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't. So even if I'm in a funk, you might not know it. I might say I'm in a funk, or I might be not, or I might just not say anything, and
Yeah.
I just kind of go about my business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, and I don't necessarily know that that's
The
always
best
the best thing to do
option.
either, but yeah,
Yeah.
but
Suppressing the feelings.
I
Just
just suppress,
bury them, bury them, bury them.
that's what I do, and keep it moving.
Yeah, it's just,
I sometimes I want to be like, no, but I just, for whatever reason, I can't like,
not
um
allow yourself to be in a
yeah,
funk.
yeah. And I don't know if it's because there was a time when my husband and I weren't together, and so I was pretty much a single mom
Yeah.
raising my kids, and I just felt like it don't matter what kind of funk you're in, it don't matter what, you got stuff to do, you got
You
business to
got to
take
suit
care of,
up
keep
and
it moving. And I
right.
think that's just been like my MO. You know what I mean? Just like keep it moving, keep it moving. Who cares? There's worse things. And I'm not saying that to say
No, I
the
get it.
way, I'm not,
Right.
saying that you handle how everybody deals with things the way they deal with things. But for me, that's always been my like I said, the way I deal with things. And 10 years from now, when I fall out from a who knows what, because
Shut up,
of
Beth.
I don't know, but that's always been. And if I'm in a, if
I know other people that are like that. It's almost like, why am I complaining? Like you said,
that's
there's other
exactly
worse things that's going on, so I can get over this.
that's exactly how I feel. I feel like, what do I have to
Yeah.
complain about? I mean,
Yeah.
so what? Is it the worst thing in the world? No. I mean, is it bad? Okay, boo hoo for you. Keep it moving. You know what I mean? And
Yes,
and
drill sergeant. Yes, drill sergeant.
and it's not, and I don't mean it like to that extent, but I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't stop. You got to
Yeah.
keep going. And so I don't know if sometimes that spills over on how I treat people. I don't mean to treat anybody that way. Like if somebody is like belly aching about some things, I don't ever want to be like, get over it. It's not that, I mean, I don't want to be not
Come across
compassionate.
that way,
Yeah,
right?
at all. However, there's a part of me that even while I might be trying to be compassionate, I'm still in the back saying, okay, I get it. That is so sad. I'm sorry. However, look at the bright side of things, and you got some people who don't want to look at the bright side right now. They
Right.
want to be like, no, I'm in the funk. I want to lay in the
Right.
funk. I want to roll
And then
around in the funk. I want to rub
that,
my
that,
belly in the funk. I want I want to sniff
I
the
want to be
funk. I
funky.
want to
Let me be funky.
and and for me personally, I just can't get in it. You know what I mean? I can't
Yeah.
allow myself to get in it. I have to like
I'm
stay that, stay.
I'm definitely I'm not a wallower in the
You don't want
funk,
to
but
wallow in the pit of funk.
right, I ain't trying to
Yeah.
be funky. However, I do know that my disposition is different. So I'm on the side of when I realize that I'm in a funk, I know that I'm different.
Remove
So,
yourself from the
yeah,
situation. Yeah.
exactly. Because funky dawn ain't fun dawn. So so
So
it's
you
like
mean you don't put the fun in funky dawn?
no, not at all. The fun is taken out of funky dawn. So I'm a lot more quieter. I'm a lot more because I'm trying to coach myself back into being fun dawn. You know what I mean?
Right. You're
But
resetting.
for me, yes, exactly. So for me, though, I'm quieter and I'm reset. Like you said, perfect word. I'm resetting myself, and for me, that takes quiet that takes me like stepping back and like being like, all right, listen, really reassessing whatever the problem is or whatever the issue is, and being like, okay, I can get through this, but I just gotta just be here for a minute. And then like slowly but surely, like this is my first time even talking about it in this manner. I realized it happened. I was in a funk, but like I'm coming out of it. And I still feel a little, it's still like a little bit of
Lingering,
a
a residual
struggle.
funkiness.
Yes, a residual funk. Like I still see some green fumes still coming up off of me, but it's not as
The
bad. And
tide
it's
is
like,
turning.
yes, for the most part. So that's why I definitely hopped on, because I'm like, although it could have been easy for me to yet again be like, oh, well, let's hold off. Let me, but I'm at a point now where I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and do it. And it's not out of like begrudgingly or anything, but I'm like,
Right.
let me do it. And by the end of this, even the end of this convo, I'm gonna be like, okay,
Yeah.
I got through it. I'm back.
Sometimes even just saying things out loud makes you feel, it releases and lifts the weight a little bit. You know what I mean? Because it
Yeah.
might feel heavy in the moment, but then once you talk about it and you commiserate, and you know what I mean, then you're like, you know what?
Now
Okay,
see,
it's
why you got, oh, here we go. We back. Cause here you go,
that
commiserate.
is not a big
What does
word.
commissary have to do with it?
What's the
Like,
commissary have to do with it?
don't nobody want no snacks, Beth. But no, yeah,
But yeah,
I
you know, it can
agree.
lift you up out of that a little bit.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even for our friends that are listening, I'm maybe you've had like, and it could be even just tax season, just realizing the adultness of everything. Like you're just down, or just things are going up, not going up, but going in a direction that you don't want it to go. That's what we're here for. That's why we're talking about these things. Everybody deals with it. It's just a
And,
natural thing. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's nice to have a reprieve. So if they're
yes,
in the middle of something where, you know, or like us, if we're in the middle of something, sometimes just breaking that, for lack of a better word, spell, breaking that, whatever that is, you know what I mean?
yeah,
I don't mean a real
that
spell, you
pattern
know
or
what I
that.
mean? Whatever
Listen,
it is, breaking it.
wherever y'all listening to us at right now, if you're in your car, if you're at home, open up the windows, roll down the windows, and just yell, "I don't want to be funky." If you're in a funk, just say, I don't want to be funky. I'm gonna create
Is
a
that
mental health song. Call that.
I don't want to
I
be
don't
fun.
want to be funky. That's gonna be tight.
Okay.
Coin
Keep
trademark
me posted.
hashtag.
Keep me
It's mine.
posted. Keep me
All
posted.
right. So listen, and already, like even just discussing it, even just saying,
Yes.
putting it out there,
Yes.
boom. It
Yes.
was what it was, but your girl's back. Thank y'all for your patience. Because we're still winding down. Like now, see my hiatus and being funky put us in a position like we right now. This actually would have probably been our last episode, or
Wrapping
we'd
up
be
the
on break
season.
right now, so wrapping
Yep.
up the season. But that's all right. That just means y'all got us for a little bit longer before we end season one and come back stronger, better than ever, with some stuff up our sleeves and things like that. But Beth, okay, I do know that you started getting wrapped up in The Way Home, that TV show.
I
Did you
did.
finish it? Did you get into the
Finished
second
it.
season? Where you at? Did
I'm
you?
done. I'm all
Did
caught up.
you? Are
Yes.
you serious? Okay.
All
Tell me
done.
that second season ending wasn't crazy.
Okay. What are you laughing about?
I'm just waiting to hear your breakdown. I already know you had some reservations about the show itself, and just like the holes that were entered. And to recap, friends, I had talked Beth into watching the show. It's called The Way Home. It's kind of like semi a period piece. The premise is this girl and her mother go to the mother's her grandmother's home to stay, because her parents have recently separated. The girl falls into a lake, and when she comes out of the lake, she's in like the early 2000s, you
90s.
say?
Or it's in the
90s?
90s. It's in the
Okay,
90s.
late 90s, I
Late
think.
90s. Yes, it is.
Late, she comes out of the lake and she's in the late 90s, and she ends up meeting her mom as a teenager. And so the story takes off from there. She learns about her mom by going to this lake, because as they try to make it seem in the show, this young girl has issues with her mom. Like, they can't be on the same page. They butt heads a lot. So by her going back in time and hanging out with her mom as a teenager, she gets to see another side of her mom that she feels she doesn't see in the present time. But then other things develop, and it's just, it's cool. It does have a
It's
couple of,
definitely, so it's time travel. It's all about time
yes.
travel.
Okay,
And I didn't know that going into it. So that was kind of threw me off for a minute. I'm like, is this what am I watching? Is this about time travel? And so then once I came to terms with, okay,
Because you're
it's
not a
about
big
time travel.
sci-fi fan kind of dealio.
I'm not, but you know when I would like sci-fi better if I read a book. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
This show reminds me of a book that I would have read in high school.
Okay.
I could see this being a book series. I don't know if it is or not, but I could definitely see this being a series of books.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
That's what it puts me in the mind of. So when I looked at it that way, I kind of got on board, and I'm like, okay, there were some big, major, gaping holes in the story at the very beginning. And I didn't like that, because if it doesn't have, some kind of logic in the storyline, I'm
right.
done. I'm done, because it's not even believable. And you want me to get on board and to be behind this,
Yes.
and it does not make any sense whatsoever.
Open your mind, Beth.
Wait a second. Hold on, Dawn. I'm having a period. Hold on. Deja vu.
What?
Do you remember? I mean, I'm so bad with timing. Years ago, when I said we should write a show,
Beth.
Dawn, wait a second. Do you remember that?
Yes, we were in the
Do you
car
remember
driving
what the
to
premise of the show was?
Yes.
Dawn.
Oh my goodness, Beth, I'm kidding you. I'm not kidding you right now.
Dawn, was it not this?
It was this.
I mean, it wasn't a lake though, but remember, do you not remember this? I'm freaking out right now because I just had deja vu, because I promise you, we talked about
Beth,
Dawn.
I'm right with you right now. I could throw up, because I remember the kids were even involved.
We were in the car driving to Indianapolis.
Yes.
I remember this, like, all of a sudden, I don't know why this memory has hit me out of the blue right now, but we were talking about I am like, only it was Dawn.
Beth, I have goosebumps right now, because I remember we were driving to Indianapolis, and like you said, we were brainstorming. We were like, we should come up with a story that's different. And like you said, it wasn't a lake. We said they would go into the woods somewhere.
Yes, we were talking about them going into the woods, and it was
portal.
a man though. It was a man though. We were talking about a man.
And it would be a portal. Yo.
Yes.
Oh my! But like, y'all, I know they're like, I know we got friends that listening right now. Like, whatever, y'all. No, I cannot.
Oh my goodness! This had to be a good. 10 years ago.
How many?
10. You've been married for already 6.
Well, 7 on
7.
Yeah, 7. Yes, coming up on 7. So
okay,
easily so 10 plus years. Yo,
I remember the girls being young talking about it when we were driving.
But they started to get into it. Remember, because at first they were.
I will have to go and ask them if they were young. I don't know if they'll remember it, but I will.
But
ask
they
if
have
they
to
remember that,
because I remember at first they were laughing
at us.
So
nuts.
This is crazy. They were laughing at us at first, but then they started getting into it, and we were talking about the different.
And we were talking about him going back and seeing himself as a Dawn.
Yo.
As a younger. Do you not remember that?
Beth, I remember it. Heaven, you know my memory's good. Oh my goodness!
I don't know what brought that memory back. I mean, I've watched all 3 seasons of this show. I didn't think twice about it, and now all of a sudden, just talking to you, that memory just flashed right in my head.
Yo,
that is
first of all, it's only 2 seasons, but
oh, sorry. Okay.
But the third season isn't in the works. They
They
already
renewed
announced
it.
that
I
it's
saw that. Yeah.
yes, yeah. But yo, how crazy is that? Y'all don't understand. We be coming up with ideas and not acting on it, and then here we are, 11, 12 years later, talking about a show, and then just realizing we had the storyline.
And
We should have wrote it
I would
down.
preface it with this. You know me, a lot of people have a lot of ideas. So it's not like it's a completely unoriginal idea that other people couldn't have like
Oh, most definitely. But
thought
we
about.
we did.
But the fact
Yo,
that that's so weird. That is so weird.
that's the fact of how it came to you, though. Well, I thought like something happened on your end, or like you've seen
No,
something.
Dawn, it just hit me like I started having deja vu as I was about to talk about
The
me getting
show.
into the story and reading a book. It like it just flooded my memory.
And listen, that trip to India. I mean, it was like a nice little drive, and the story kept developing. And I
I
even
know, and
remember,
we were like, we need to write this down.
yeah,
We
I was
need to
just about
develop
to
it. We
say
need to
that.
keep going.
I was just about to say that, but I was just about to say we had a good amount of time, and it was getting so good. I distinctly remember saying, I need to write this down because this is good. And this could be yo. And they want to take our taxes, but they tapping our phones and our cars, listening to our ideas and just making money out there. Just making
That is
money.
crazy. I
Yo.
remember now that I'm talking about it, I remember like the plot and the storyline and everything. And my memory sucks. So I mean, I am remembering
Beth,
all of that
I
right now.
do too. Please ask the kids if they remember. Because they were in on it too. We talked about the dude and how, because we were trying to figure out. Okay, now if he went back, he would have to. The story would have to have that twist of something happened in his youth, and so
Yes,
that's why when he
Dawn,
yes, I'm here with you, buddy.
crazy.
Crazy. I'm crazy for feeling. Yo, this is, see, it just goes to
Wow.
show we need to start whatever the idea is, just do it. Just do it because this is ridiculous. Listen, you missed out on your bagel bites.
I'm right.
Missed out on Snapple Dapple. We missed out
on my
the
cereal restaurant,
which is an actual thing. Yo, seriously, we're legit billionaires. It's just somebody else
in
got
our
our money.
mind. In my mind.
Here we are struggling, just trying to get it on auto pay, and yet
Right.
we.
Trying to get my bills on auto pay.
I'm just trying to get my bills on auto pay.
Man.
Yo, okay, all right. Now back, okay, so back to now that we figured out that
I'm
we
sorry, I
basically
completely derailed.
no, but
I don't know.
well, we just had an epiphany that the story was ripped from beneath us and developed into the show. But okay, go
Ripped
ahead.
from
So,
our brains.
man,
So
continue, Beth.
listen, I'm trying to get past this.
Yeah, I feel some type of way now, right?
Right. Okay. So big gaping holes is what brought it back to me. I said big gaping holes, and it made me think of the portal.
Our stuff rock solid.
Yes,
though, when we were developing. You're right. Yeah, because
so when I said big gaping hole, that's what brought it back to me.
Wow.
Okay. I'm exhausted.
Right.
That took a lot out of me right there. All of a sudden, I am tired.
Because listen, that was a roller coaster of emotion. Because I feel excited. And then now I'm disappointed because there's another $1 billion that we've let slip between our fingers.
It's like, whew. All right.
But I digress.
Okay. So back to that. But it's I can't even talk about it anymore because it's clever of what they're doing, but it's what I would have done. I the way they're going back and forth, the time
Yes.
travel back and forth, her meeting her mom, all that stuff. I would have done the same thing.
Oh man, isn't this great?
Let me tell you one thing I love about the show,
Uh-huh.
because it was set in the late 90s and it does cross over into the early 2000s because they even address September 11th.
Yeah. Yeah.
When all that
Mm-hmm.
happened. So it was late 90s. So that was like my prime. I consider it, like, like when I was like, what I mean? Like
Right.
that was when I was in my,
The height of your youth.
late teens, early 20s,
Right.
my height, that time of my life. The soundtrack to the show, like all the different songs they're playing, puts me so right back into the 90s, which to me, the 90s music, early 2000s music, great.
Right.
Great music.
Yes, most definitely.
But did you notice that, and this brings me to something that I thought about for us, the name of each episode of the show is the name of a song back from the 90s and 2000s?
No.
So you know how every show has a show episode title?
Right.
Every episode is the name of a song from the time period that they're in.
Nuh-uh.
It is. And so I love that about it.
I didn't even pick up on that. I'm gonna have to go back just to look at the titles. Get out.
I loved that. So I had thought about, when I saw that, I had thought about us. And you know how you always do a song at the beginning of each episode relating to phone calls?
Right.
I thought it would be great for us, based on what we talk about when we go to name the title of each podcast or each conversation each week, to see if we can somehow, based on what we talk about, tie it to a name of a song and then name the conversation that song.
I mean, I don't see a problem with that. We could do that. No, the
I just
possibilities
thought,
are endless.
and I don't even know if that will even work, but I was so impressed by
I didn't even
the way they
notice
did that.
Yeah.
I thought it was so cool, so cute.
I love, like, when they would play, like you said, songs from that time, like when old girl was
when she was going back. Yeah.
Yes, and she played like at the bonfires and stuff. Okay, but go ahead, continue with what you thought about the show. So that was one thing, you like the titles, but what about the meat? Get to the nitty gritty.
The meat
of the show, like the. Oh wait, hold on. I thought you liked it.
I did. I'm trying to think of. I don't remember how it ended.
Get out of here, Beth.
I'm trying,
and I don't want to say it because in case our friends want to check it out.
I watched it 2 weeks ago, and I was all prepped to talk about it 2 weeks ago, and now I told you.
Okay, let me give a hint. Like I said, I don't want to give the ending away, but
right.
It definitely opened up a new.
So I know another time period.
Yes,
and I know. I'm trying to remember how it cliffhanged, like how it ended on the cliffhanger. I know there's more people coming back.
Yes.
And I know there was one part, see, and this is like hard to talk about it because if our friends decide to go watch it, we don't want to give too much away.
Right.
But there was one of the scenes when Elle, and I love the fact that his name is Elle and your husband's name is Elle, and I like that. Anyway, there was one part when Elle was talking to, I don't know anybody's name.
Me either. I
Alice. Know. Alice is the daughter, right?
Right. Kat
is the mom.
Right.
There was one day when Elle was talking to Kat's dad, and he heard a snap, and he's like, "Did you hear that?"
Oh, yes.
And he said that more than one time. And I'm like, that has got to mean something because he said it twice now. And we all heard the snap. And so the only reason he would say, "Did you hear that?" It has to tie somewhere in. And then we see that it does tie back in at the end because we know who it was.
Right. But see, now, yeah, we're going to have to talk about this off mic because just in general, at one point, Elliot, like when, Alice or Kat wanted to take something back with them when they did their
Yes.
time travel through the lake.
Yes.
Or like even Elliot was like, be careful when you time travel because, like if you died when you time travel, you can't go back. But okay, so if you die in the past, you die in your present
Future.
time,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Right.
And I thought Elliot said, Elle said that you couldn't, the lake never takes you to your future. So if that were the case, that's where I feel like a big gap is because, and I'll have to leave it there and we'll
Because
talk about the rest off.
we possibly meet somebody who is from the future.
Well, and it would be their past, but the other person that was from the past, they were looking at their future.
We're going to talk about this offline.
So if
because
y'all don't
I don't
know,
want to alienate our friends who are listening to this conversation. I don't want them tuning
That's
out.
not what it's about. We want
But
y'all. So
and
if
I had
anything,
even said to you, we could have a whole podcast about this show, but it would have to be an extra.
yes.
And we would have to say, okay, this is for people who have watched.
Spoiler alert.
If you've watched it, listen to this. If it's not, if it's an extra, it's a bonus episode, bonus conversation.
But wouldn't you agree? It's definitely a show that will get you wrapped up in it because
for sure. For sure.
And I loved how each episode was such a good cliffhanger. You wanted to watch another one because you want answers. I love that about it.
I did. I like that too. And like I said, it took me probably 3 or 4, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 episodes into the first season before I was finally there. I kept watching because I said I was going to.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know. This don't make sense. How come he knows that? Why aren't they telling us how he knows that? How is he the only one? What? So a lot of things they weren't filling in, and I didn't like that, but I stuck with it. And by the time I got to episode like 5 or 6, then I was okay. I'm like, okay,
and you know what? And honestly, I feel like that's around the time where they started then going back and piecing things together. Why does so and so know this, or why did this? Like they started like midway filling in some of the questions that you may have when you first get started. So, and then by season 2, it's still the same premise, but it's a whole nother story, really.
Right. So, and then by season 3, man, forget it.
When it comes out in 2025.
So, is that when it's coming out?
Yeah.
Honestly, I hate that now. Come on.
I know. But
don't do that to me. A whole year. 2024 just started.
Well, I feel like, now this is me. I felt like season 2 ended so crazy. They need that time to bring that back around. Yeah. Yeah.
To make it make sense.
Yes. Because I was like, when it ended, I'm like, wait, Shaggy?
Okay.
Like, yeah.
So we're going to have to get on a phone conversation with you and I and Alexis, since we know that she's watched it.
Yes.
And we're going to have to do a 3-way, like, let's talk about it. Let's talk
and then,
about
like you said, we might have to do a spoiler one. But friends, being that you definitely have time to catch up on season 1 and season 2, since season 3 of The Way Home is not coming out until 2025. I'm telling you, check it. And it's like you said, it's not a crazy, crazy show where, I said it was semi kid friendly. Alexis was like, you're crazy. But like Celeste knew Kat, she knew Elliot, she knew.
I don't know. I would think it's a family show.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know.
But maybe I'm missing something.
Maybe I did too, but we didn't finish 2 seasons and my little one seems fine.
And I watched season 3 and it was okay.
Would you stop talking?
Can't
stand you. All right. So you even though it took a little bit to get you on board, but
I'm fully invested now. I mean, I'm uninvested because I have to wait until 2000 and
listen, because you know what, we're gonna have to rewatch.
I can't remember what happened in the finale 2 weeks ago. There's no way by 2025 I'm gonna remember anything.
And I really hope it, aside from, because, even with season two, there were new characters introduced, but I hope they keep the original characters. I
Yeah,
can't
well, that's the
stand,
problem sometimes when they wait so
yeah,
long, they end up having to switch out a new, person in place, and that drives me nuts.
I can't stand that. Listen, if you're gonna do a sequel, a trilogy, listen, learn from the Fast and Furious crew. Keep the same
Keep
people
the
for
players,
10
right?
seasons.
Keep the same players.
But yeah, it because I'm like, it doesn't give the same feel. I don't know. But so hopefully when they bring it back around, it has like the same Alice, the same I like the lady who plays Kat. I like her. I like her
She's from
character.
Grey's Anatomy.
Oh yeah, you did say
She
that.
played Lexi on Grey's Anatomy. I love me some Grey's Anatomy.
And you know what? So all, because Grey's Anatomy is a well-known, very popular show, even though I've never seen an
Right.
episode. So for you, Grey's Anatomy fans, there's a little incentive. There's a character. Who was it, Beth?
Her name was Lexi Gray.
Oh, was it like a main character?
She was related to the main character, yes.
Oh, okay. So
Hmm.
there you go. You Grey's Anatomy fan. Like I said, I know there's quite a few. There's a little incentive to check her out. I don't know anybody else, but I liked all the characters. I even like. Listen, there's some. Okay, real quick. I think there's something up with the neighbor. Did you notice it was towards the end of the season? They were talking about something, and I don't know if Kat said or Alice said something, and he kind of made a face or perked up kind of weird, that to me hinted like there's something about him. I don't know what it is. I feel like he's definitely going to be around for season 3. Um but there were a couple of times where people would say something, and the way his body language, and I felt like the camera made it a point, to be on him at those times. So I feel like he has a deeper part in this than what we're knowing so far.
We'll have to discuss.
Yeah.
We'll have to discuss. I can't say too much more,
Okay.
or
Okay.
I'll
I got you.
explode. I'll say the wrong thing.
Okay.
I'll say
All
the wrong
right.
thing.
Got you. Bet.
All right.
What else you got?
Did you watch Traders?
I have not.
Okay.
I've been funky, but listen.
It's okay.
No. What was it on?
It is on Paramount or NBC. I think you can probably find it on NBC.com. Maybe the first season and maybe the second season is on Paramount, which you have to,
What?
pay for a subscription for.
No, I
Not
have
Paramount.
Paramount.
I'm sorry, not Paramount. Peacock. NBC and
Oh
Peacock.
man.
What's the
See,
matter?
well, I was excited because I have Paramount. I'm like, oh no, I get that through my Walmart Plus thingy. But
You get
Peacock,
Paramount through Walmart Plus?
yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
I don't. Ugh.
Go. Do you have you? Because you do Walmart delivery and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Go to even if you Google it or something. I don't know, but yeah, I've had it for as long as I've had
Okay.
the Walmart thing. So yeah, that's how, because we're not certified Trekkies. Like I feel like real Trekkies would suck their teeth at us if I claimed that. But me and my husband do enjoy watching some of the Star Trek installments. So
Hmm.
like on Paramount, Star Trek Discovery comes on there. So that's how I keep up with some of these
Okay.
shows. But Bob Hart's Abishola, it's on Paramount, so I can keep up with that, because cable's ridiculous.
Well,
They
see, and
listen.
that's the thing is like, so like CBS.com and Paramount are the same, but CBS.com is free and Paramount is, you have to pay for that subscription. So there are some things that you can watch on CBS.com, like that are maybe newer or the newer season or maybe last season. But if you want
Oh,
to go
right.
back and watch like all installments or go back and see, like, so say Survivor, I'm a big Survivor Amazing Race fan. I can go on CBS.com the day after Survivor airs. So it airs tonight. Tomorrow, I could go on CBS.com, watch last night's episode. But if I want to go back and watch season 3 of Survivor, I have to go on Paramount Plus. So
Okay.
it's the same with the Traitors. I believe that you could probably find season 1 and maybe some of season 2 on NBC.com. You won't need Peacock unless maybe it gets to the point where they lock those down. They're too
Right.
old or something like that. So you might be able to go on NBC.com,
Listen,
make an account.
I'm going on
Mhm.
cinema.
There you go. Or go on cinema and do it
I'm
that
gonna
way.
go on cinema because that's even where I watched The Way Home, and I like it because the commercials are cut out. Like you can watch straight through. Boom, plack, blam. There you have it.
See, and I have YouTube.com TV, YouTube TV. I mean, I have YouTube TV.
Oh, okay. Is that a
So
subscription thing?
it is, and it's not like a $5.99 or $10.99 one. You are paying, but it's like 50 or $60, something like that.
What?
And but it has but it's like watching live television. So I get all my local.
Man,
What's the matter?
that's a lot, Beth. You know, I'm stuck in the $9.99 and
But you got to
$7.99.
remember, so like I don't need CBS.com. I don't need necessarily, you know what I mean, or Paramount. I guess unless you're going to watch old stuff, because I can go on my YouTube TV and go on video on demand and search for any show and watch it. You see what I'm saying? Like, so it's
Yeah.
not like live. So it's not necessarily like Netflix, where if I want to watch something specifically for Netflix,
Right.
um, I have to have it. But if it's just like live TV and it's cheaper than cable, and I can watch it on multiple televisions, and I can take it wherever I go. If I travel someplace, I can get on my phone and log onto my YouTube TV and watch, like, just like cable, like watch live television.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
So
And
so
like
in
you
that
said, it's still
sense,
cheaper than if you
then
get Dish or
cable,
Guide or good
absolutely,
Googly.
it's cheaper than all that. And so, but
Okay,
um,
so Trader. So what season? What season are you watching?
I just finished season 2. And
Okay.
it just ended several weeks ago, and I was a little bit behind, and I just finished it. But you watch season
Okay.
1. I so wish that I was watching when you watch, because it's another juicy one that I want to talk about. Like, I wanted to talk about it. I had nobody to talk about it with. But
I'm
it's
gonna
okay.
start it. I'm gonna start it. At least the second season. I don't want to go back.
No. Start season 1.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, start season 1.
Oh, okay.
It's not a continuation. It's a completely and totally, it's just like any other kind of
Game show or
game
like,
show or reality
yeah.
TV show. But season 1 to me was better, because
Okay.
it was a combination of reality stars and everyday people.
Okay.
The second season, they were all reality stars, which to me is harder, because you come in knowing a person's personality. And so you play the game, or you formulate how you're going to play the game based on who is there and what you know of that person, because of what you've seen of them on TV already. Where when
Right.
it's complete strangers or nobodies that you don't know of, you have to come in totally
And
different.
strategize.
Yes, you know what I mean? And so to
Yeah.
me, I like the first season better. I hope when
Okay.
they do season 3 that they don't bring all reality stars, but I have a feeling that's what they're going to do. But
Well, I feel like they know that that's going to draw in a crowd. If you got
yeah,
people that's well known,
yeah,
influencers, all this other
yeah.
stuff, it's
So,
definitely going to. Okay.
but
All right. So I'm going to check that
that's on
out.
you. I'm trying to
Okay.
think of anything else that's new that's going on. There were a couple of things. I know we had a little bit of hiatus, and so it might not even be worth. We're rounding up on our hour already here, so I don't want to take too much time to talk. But there were a couple of things I had wanted to kind of talk to you about um a couple of weeks ago, but I don't know if it's even point to bring them up, and maybe I will. And if we can expound on them, we can. And if we say, yeah, it's come and gone, whatever. But I wanted to talk to you about, did you hear about those? You remember those 2 conjoined twins,
Yes.
and they got married, or one of them got married?
Yes.
I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to talk to you about that.
Mm. mm. Cause listen. They already. I know that they've already made statements in regards to the arrangement.
Oh, see, I didn't even hear about that, because when I brought it up,
Yeah.
it was when I first heard about it. It had just happened, and so I was like, I'm going to talk to Dawn about that on the phone. I'm going to talk to Dawn about that on the phone.
Yeah. Because
Because I'm like, I have
listen,
so many questions.
listen. So for friends that don't know, and I forget that they've been around
For a long time.
for a long
Yeah.
time, and I think that's part of even their story. They were given a life expectancy that was pretty short, but these conjoined twins are now, young ladies, like older ladies. It's like Brittany and
That's why can Brittany is the only name I remember too. Why is it only Brittany
I
that I
don't
remember?
know. And I think Brittany's the one that got married. I don't know, but so they're conjoined, and like it's
And where
one
and they're
body.
where are they conjoined at?
Because listen, so
I believe
it's
it's like
one
one
body
body,
and two
two
heads.
heads.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because
And
listen,
so I have so many questions.
because listen.
It's
Well,
Abby and Brittany.
Abby and Brittany, yes.
So, like, how does one get married? I get how one, because they have two different brains. I get that. So then what happens if the other one wants to get married? And then what if the two husbands don't like each other?
Because listen. Love and marriage, love and marriage. I don't know. To me,
I have
that
so many questions. Can we have them
I
on the show?
do too. I don't know. I listen, knowing their celebrity status just for their situation, probably have to pay to get them. But listen, like for real, all jokes aside, I'm confused as to like you said, so it's one body, two heads. The girls each have their own separate personalities. I think even when they were younger, it was like, one was more outspoken than the other, you know, all that entails, right? So, like,
So many questions. I have so many questions.
like, who even hollered at old boy? Like, that is a permanent third wheel. I feel like this is my position. I would never put my conjoined twin in that type of situation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, uh, it's a sacrifice, but
Okay. So we're not going to talk about that one then, I guess, huh? I
I
just
mean,
have
we
now.
will, but that might have to be on the spoiler alert.
Okay.
Because yeah, man, yeah, that's a permanent like there is no private time. Like there's always, like, jokes aside, there's always going to be that additional person, and like you said, they have their own thinking, you know what I mean? It's two heads, they're two individuals from the neck up. So you can't even, for our married individuals, our married listeners, even just as far as like private talk, you know what I mean? Like, there's just things that you probably wouldn't share with someone outside of your household, right?
But
So
but there can't be any private talk. I mean, not only can't there be any private talk, there is nothing that Brittany could tell him if she's the one that got married that Abby doesn't already know.
well,
Like, what is
yeah.
she going to? You know what I mean? Like, what can she disclose to him about herself that Brittany isn't already privy to?
Well, no, not well. Okay, not even that. But now, say it's Brittany, like you said, who got married, right? But Brittany and her husband, say there's a tiff between them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now you got Abby on the side. But say, like, what if Abby took sides and was like, "No, I agree with him. Like, it wasn't that bad." Now it's like automatically two
See,
against one.
we have to stop talking about this because the sarcastic side of me wants to start saying things that I probably shouldn't. So I'm going to stop. We're just going to stop this conversation.
Okay.
Because I had a sarcastic comment that's probably not good. So I'm going to stop.
Okay. We'll put that one to the side.
Okay.
What
Right.
else did you have? So because
Well,
but
you kind of touched about it earlier, talking about cruising and excited about going on cruise. Did you see the story? This is now a couple weeks old about the couple. It was more than one couple. I want to say it was several people that got stranded on an island because they were late getting back to their cruise ship.
no.
They got stranded in a African country
Mm-mm.
because they were on a cruise. You know how it is when you go and you dock at these port of calls, these ports
Yep.
of call, and the captain is like, I don't care what you do, but you better have your tail
They
back
don't
on the
play.
ship.
They do not play.
Everybody who cruises knows that they don't play and
Exactly.
know that they will leave you if
Without
you wasn't
hesitation.
on
Now
there.
listen, they'll give you that warning honk that
They will page your name over
the
the
island.
loudspeaker. How do I know that?
Well,
They will page your name to make sure that everybody's all aboard.
how can I attest to that?
So my point is that you know the risks
Right.
before you get off that ship. But I want to say it was 2, 4, maybe like a group of like 6 or so. I can't remember now, but they got stranded because they did not get back. They took a
See?
private tour with a private whatever, and they didn't. The only time a cruise will wait for you is if maybe
Right.
you were on a tour that was a cruise sponsored tour, or a tour that was guided by the cruise ship, and
Exactly.
something happens, then they will wait. But if you take your own private tour somewhere, you know the deal. You know the deal.
Listen, you better synchronize your watches. You better make sure you're on the same time.
On ship time.
Everything. Yes. Wow.
And they got stranded. And this is not just like being stranded at one of these little Caribbean islands where you could maybe take a little bit of a hopper boat back and end up, you're in the Bahamas and you can be in
Right. I feel like they
Florida
got
in a couple
backup
of
ships for
hours.
that.
But they got stranded and they left them, and then they got somebody to take them to where the boat was going to be, and the
Okay.
captain refused to let them on.
Okay, well now hold on now. It's not like you had to come back and get me. Now, if I found my own way to the ship, stop playing with me.
Dawn, I don't know how I would have
I would have
reacted.
ended up in the African jail because I would have
And these
tried to
people had
take
no money. They had no currency that was
transferable to like,
right.
oh no, you gonna let me on the ship. Did they end up letting them on the ship or he just would not let them?
They did. They finally did.
Okay.
They finally ended up letting them on. But the people, they talking about how like traumatic it was for them to be. But they said where they were at, and it was believe it or not, it was I can't think of the name of the country in Africa, but they spoke Brazilian.
Oh.
It was an African island, and it was a U.S. couple, an Australian couple. I can't remember, but it was some African island that they spoke. It was like right on the border of another, I don't know, island, and they
Now,
spoke
now
this.
let me ask you this, because maybe this is why it was traumatic for him. Uh, would
Yes.
they have blended in
No.
with? Okay,
No.
okay, okay.
They said
would, would would they have blended in with
no.
the country? Okay,
No. No. That's probably why it was even
okay.
more
Traumatic. That's why it
right,
was scary.
cause more vexation.
Let me on this ship.
Get me off of this island with these. No, this
Oh my
but
goodness.
but
Okay. Yeah,
no,
that
they did. But they said the people were very nice and very accommodating, trying to help them get to where they needed to go. They didn't have a lot of money. They didn't have
listen.
any money.
You know why that is. They're now listen, y'all ain't about to come up here and start. There goes the neighborhood. Nope, get them back to the ship. They came.
Right. And so they ended up. I think that they even got their either got their cruise refunded because they still had to finish out the trip. And I guess when they got back on the ship, they were not in the best of moods and weren't feeling too great about the captain, and
Now listen,
were a little bit upset.
Up until the point of I get it, like you said, and if you cruise, if you are familiar, you know that ship will leave you. I get that. So you couldn't be upset about that. That's just what it is. Now, however, like I said, if they found their way to meet up with the ship and now you acting funny, trying to act like you're not gonna that's where we have a problem. That's what my issue. That's why Dawn would have ended up on international news.
So
Because I would have caused a riot.
They did have somebody try to take them to where they were docked at the next maybe port of call.
Yeah.
And they were trying to call the captain, but the captain was like refusing their calls. And so and the captain was like, no, take them back to the island. They're not getting.
Oh no. That's it. Like I said, I feel like
so he turned the tender boats away.
Wow.
But then eventually he let them back on.
It shouldn't even have gotten that far though. As far as him refusing, and come on now.
And I don't know what his rationale was behind it, but
yeah, which we gonna make our way back to that. I think that's what we're gonna start on next.
I'm gonna have to research some things so I don't.
Me too.
Say some stuff I shouldn't say. Oh man.
But y'all, it's good to be back. It's good to share this moment with y'all.
It's an extended conversation because we didn't have a conversation for the,
long overdue. So. Long overdue. So just to show y'all, we back at it again with the shenanigans. As always, like, share, subscribe, tell folks about us. We back. We still here. We still cracking the jokes and having a good time.
We don't know anything, but if you can listen, I'm sorry, I'm about to cough. Excuse me. If you can listen and smile one time during this conversation, then it was worth it.
Exactly.
If you're in a funk and this got you out of your funk and took your mind off of whatever is funking you up, then that was the whole point.
Exactly. Remember, roll down the windows, open the windows up, say it loud in the streets. I don't want to be funky.
Oh my!
And let them know. Don't look me. Listen,
I didn't
say that now.
I said, look, oh my.
Listen, 25 years down the line, that's going to be a thing. We're going to be talking about something. Remember when we...
That was a revelation today. That was a revelation, Dawn.
Yo, deep. But friends, it's been fun. Thank y'all for tuning in once again. If you're new, if this is your first episode that you listen, we have plenty of other laughs and shenanigans in previous episodes. So check those out. Like I said, we're getting ready to wrap up season 1, but we're going to come back with season 2. But until that time, in the meantime, in between time, I ain't saying,
but I'm saying,
we out.
Bye.